Well, guess this is the awkward moment portion of the evening.
Yep, the looming question.
Who gets the leftovers?
It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Jane Pauley.
Melissa McCarthy showed off her comic skills opposite Billy Gardell in the popular CBS sitcom Mike and Molly. So it would be quite a turnaround if next Sunday's Call for the Envelope Please brings McCarthy an Oscar for a very different sort of role. Here's Lee Cowan.
At the Iliad Bookshop in North Hollywood, California, you can find just about anything. Including, on this day, actress Melissa McCarthy.
There you go. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
See you soon.
She was buying actual books with actual pages. Tablets just aren't her thing.
Every weekend we try to go to a bookstore. It's the one thing, yeah. It's the one store. My husband's really good about it. I don't know. I need a real book. I need a tangible book.
Bye. Thank you.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Books are great, but she enjoys studying people even more.
I read somewhere that you have a real obsession with observing people who really just don't care. They don't care what they look like. They don't care what they say. They don't care what they eat, drink, whatever. It's almost like a hobby for you watching.
It is a hobby, and it's gotten harder since this is a little more recognizable. My husband many times has been like, you cannot follow people. Like you're not, and now you get caught more.
And would some of those characters that you would stalk, would they
lovingly
would they make
admire?
Would they make it into some of your other characters, like parts of them?
I think when I really see like a mannerism or just a way somebody carries themselves, I tend to keep like playing it over and over.
Jesus, Megan. I'm sorry. I want to apologize. I'm not even confident of which end that came out of. Whitney, back to you. I'm sorry.
McCarthy's characters, as cringeworthy as they are lovable, are her collection of the bits and pieces of people she's gathered along the way.
You know, I get it. You know, you get a little taste of Tammy, and then you kind of come clamoring back for more.
But for all her outrageous hilarity,
before we begin, I know that myself and the press have gotten off to a rocky start. All right.
McCarthy is capable of some Oscar-worthy subtlety, too. A skill she shows off in her latest performance in Can You Ever Forgive Me?
You've actually carried my books here.
And you are?
Lee Israel.
Oh, we have copies of your latest work right over there.
McCarthy is up for an Academy Award for her portrayal of Lee Israel, the true story of a caustic, best-selling biographer who, in her later years, typed her way into a life of petty crime.
I'm embellishing literary letters by prominent writers.
Within the first 15 pages of the script, I just thought, oh, I like her quite a bit. I'm not sure why. And I thought, I don't know, but I'm fully rooting for her already.
The real-life Lee Israel made a name for herself writing profiles of celebrities, including actress Tallulah Bankhead and gossip columnist Dorothy Kilgallen. But when her biography of makeup mogul Estee Lauder flopped, Israel found herself on welfare and began fabricating letters, typed correspondence from celebrities like Louise Brooks, Edna Ferber, and Noel Coward, and then scammed New York City booksellers into buying them as the genuine article.
These are wonderful.
I thought so too.
Name your price.
How many of her letters do you think are still out there?
I don't know, but God, I'd love to know. I think there's quite a bit of them hanging on people's walls. Proudly. And now maybe even strangely, it's like it could make them even a little better. It's like a story within a story.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Affectionately, Lillian Helm.
Edna Ferber, Dorothy Parker, Judy Holliday, Louise Brooks,
Highest regards,
Marlena Dietrich.
Sincerely yours, Noel Coward.
Over the course of 3 years, Israel carefully crafted more than 400 fakes, making her one of the most prolific literary forgers in history.
You're impersonating other people. I mean, very well, I'm sure, but come on. Nobody's buying Lee Israel letters.
She did do some damage to the literary community, even though she didn't see it that way.
No, she didn't, and I guess I don't. But I'm clearly on her side. She grifted people. I'm not saying that it's okay what she did. It's the gentlest grift I've ever heard of. That people got conned, and I don't take that lightly. But also, she was in absolute desperation.
You'd never know it from her writing, though, which was desperately good. Take this letter, Israel claimed was written by satirist Dorothy Parker.
Dear Joshua, Alan told me to write and apologize. I have a hangover that is a real museum piece. I'm sure I must have said something terrible. To save me this kind of exertion in the future, I am thinking of having little letters run off saying, "Can you ever forgive me, Dorothy?" But until I do that, can you ever forgive me, Dorothy?
She was such a talented writer.
Such an incredible writer, and so witty. I mean, she was conjuring these lines and these incredibly funny replies, and she was really, really good.
And so was McCarthy's performance, if you go by the award recognition. In addition to her Oscar nod, she was also nominated for a SAG, a BAFTA, and a Golden Globe, all for a pretty dark role that some see as far different from her comedic bread and butter.
There's no difference for me in preparation of if it's, on paper, a comedic role or a dramatic role. I still think you build them the same way. And even with all the comedies I've done, I spend more time thinking about what makes them scared or when they feel vulnerable than I ever do about what makes them funny.
In fact, in the 90s, after a stint of doing stand-up in New York City clubs, McCarthy actually found drama a refuge.
I really did all dramatic work on stage in New York for years and years, way off Broadway.
You said some of them were pretty grim.
They were pretty grim. I mean, the theaters?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was
or even the plays themselves.
Oh, they were all, it was like the darker, the more macabre I could do, the more I just loved it. I mean, the interest was and is always someone who's much further from myself.
Lee Israel is light years away from the Midwest nice of McCarthy. She was an alcoholic, big city porcupine who died largely alone in 2014 after finally writing her own memoir, outlining the gritty details of her literary larceny.
But at the end of the day, you read the book and she's not contrite really about what she did. She actually sounds like she's kind of bragging about it.
She never ever took back the writing was good. Someone just recently sent me a letter that she'd written, and she mentions this, I've gotten myself into a bit of trouble with some writing, and then there's some line after it basically saying, however, the writing was good, and the letters are great.
I thought this one line here was particularly clever, don't you think?
Caustic wit,
Caustic wit is my religion.
McCarthy doesn't excuse Israel's crimes, but she hopes the movie might serve as a reminder that there is talent in all of us. Even those who are unlikable, maybe even criminal, want what we all do, to be seen.
I just want people to look up and notice people. I feel like we're so separate now, and I do think all the time, look up. Anyone, you don't know who's passing you. You could be passing Lee Israel, who is sure going to be more interesting and smarter and funnier than the average person. So don't underestimate people.